So we have Alex here today, and I am really excited to chat about his journey because Alex went from not believing, not knowing that healing eczema was even possible, which I think a lot of people can relate to because he was not stuck. Well, yeah, actually stuck in that just use steroids in the conventional world of that this is your only option. And to the point where Alex's doctor said, well, you actually have to move from Adelaide because it's Adelaide. So when you're like, well, I like the city I live in and I don't want to move. Yeah, that's not the news that you want to hear. So Alex has done full circle and now has the confidence in his body. And it's not even aesthetically. I mean, obviously self-esteem, and that is a bonus, but it is more the confidence that his body can heal. And I think that's really, really powerful. And it's a beautiful transformation. Obviously, there's lots of great things that Alex has been able to achieve. Like his eczema went down by 97%. And there were some before and afters, had it all over his torso, was up all night scratching. His girlfriend, now fiance, would literally wake up from him scratching. And I remember that too, when you're waking your partner up from scratching. Getting itchy when you just want to be social, go out for drinks with friends, and eating all the delicious food. So yeah, it was really challenging. And I think it's a very common story for a lot of people. So I'm really excited because, Alex has a great story. He was really, really busy doing all the things, starting a business, working in a day job, planning a wedding, a honeymoon, but he still had that motivation that something needs to change. So he took the chance. I'm glad you did. So thanks, Alex, for sharing your journey here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So always like to get started just to kind of give a little history of your journey with eczema before you started officially healing.
Yeah. Well, I guess mine's probably similar to a lot of people. I've pretty much had eczema for my whole life, since I can remember. And I had it a fair bit when I was in my teens. Then, like what I think happens to a lot of people, it sort of comes and goes. And then as I got into my 20s, it sort of just kept getting worse. I kept going back to the doctor saying, what can I do about this? And trying, various things just to get an answer. And eventually it was just, I was stuck in this cycle of using steroid creams. I put on lotion probably 3 times a day. It was getting a bit crazy there. The steroid creams, like initially, I mean, you go to the doctors and they say you should, use that maybe for 5-7 days, wait for it to go away and then stop using it. It's not good to use long term. But inevitably, when those 5 to 7 days are up, then the flare up comes back, and then you just get stuck in a cycle of using it consistently. On any red spot that appears, quickly put some cream on, it goes away, but it doesn't really solve the underlying issue. So I think I was in that cycle probably for my whole 20s. So to be using those steroid creams, I didn't really know how bad they were for you to use long term. So to be using them for such a long time and not really knowing a way out, it was pretty frustrating. But yeah, I try to, basically from that, I tried a few other things, seeing a naturopath, basically looking at diet. I dabbled in the Eczema diet. I think there's a book out there that some people probably have seen. So I dabbled in that and gave that a go, but it was just so stringent on how you can actually eat, and I didn't see it as a long-term solution. So I think it was basically straight after that I found you. So thank God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we did speak. I think I remember speaking to you initially and you said, okay, I bought this book. We did some research because you and your partner are so beautiful. This was a team effort with you guys. And going to try this book, and then reached out after. I forgot about that actually. But the eczema diet's really hard because I tried that too. And this was and I tried to buy all the supplements. You have to restrict so much food. And it turned out with you that it wasn't even food that was the actual problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I sort of think about it now. I think it's trying to be a little bit of a one size fits all type approach, and it might work, fine for some people depending what their cause is. But yeah, for me, I wanted guidance and someone who I can keep going back to and figure it out. Whereas that sort of, you don't really get all of that from a book if you're just following a script. So I guess that's what drew me in to start with. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that is like for people that are on YouTube and doing a lot of research. I call them serial researchers. I definitely did that for years and years and years, but you can follow other people's success stories, which is helpful, right? Because you might see, okay, this person, did the eczema diet and it was helpful, but you also that whole idea of the program is, well, what's your body actually telling you, right? If you don't have these extreme food sensitivities, which it is helpful for some people, but if you don't have them, the book's not going to work. So again, that whole idea is like, okay, well, what's happening in your body? Yeah. Yeah.
And I think because the steroid creams just cover everything up. So there was times where I didn't even look like I had eczema. I was just constantly itching. And I never thought to think, oh, maybe like, I think a lot of people fall into the trap as well as thinking it's a genetic thing or something like that.
Yeah.
But actually thinking, actually there's a cause to why you're getting these flare-ups. Like it's probably inflammation. What's causing the inflammation? If you solve that, then you solve the problem.
Yeah.
So actually like thinking around it, and just like knowing that there was something you could do about it was definitely positive. And like I remember we were talking at the start, like I think if you're suffering from something like this, you're going to be determined to fix it. But generally, I'm a pretty determined and diligent person when it comes to trying to achieve a goal. So, but what I didn't have was like the how to do it. And once I knew what to do, then it was achievable. But it's just going around trying to throw darts at a dartboard and not really knowing what to do, just seeing what sticks. It wasn't really a good approach. So
yeah, and thanks for sharing that, because it is a thing where some people, especially like really goal-driven people, it's great that you had that turning point where like, I need to change now. But then sometimes people are thinking, well, I should be able to do this on my own. And then they get like, they have this expectation that I should be able to, there's all this information. I have this book. Why can't I do it? And sometimes you just need to reach out for help. And that's just the reality of life with everything, so
you can only do so much yourself. Like, yeah, I'm definitely in that bucket, trying to do everything myself. But some things maybe leave to the experts.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So before starting the program, did you have any hesitations?
I mean,
I don't take any offense. We're on the other side. I know it's possible.
No, it was just, I guess, like I was saying, it's like I saw a naturopath, and I've seen doctors, I've seen dermatologists, and all the sort of solutions didn't work. So I guess it's the same. It's another solution that you hear about, and then you're sort of wondering, does it actually? Because it costs money to do something like this. Are you going to get the value out of it? And I could say 110%, I got the value out of it. But yeah, it's just seeing. I guess like one of the reasons I wanted to do this today was because when I was at the start of my journey with it, I saw in a couple of interviews you did with other people who had gone through the process and come out the other side, and to actually see that it was possible, that got me over the line. I was like, I just need to do it. I'm busy now, but I just need to do it. I was fed up. So to see other people that had got a positive outcome from it was the biggest thing for me. Not just another thing to try and then fail at. I guess that was the biggest reservation, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's true because it's, especially if you've gone to another naturopath and nutritionist, it's like, well, it's
Mm,
kind of the same. Like what I talk about is very similar, like, the gut. And I don't know if they talk about like the emotional and the brain skin part, but, getting to
mm,
the root cause, the body as a whole, healing from the inside out. But it is, and this is a story with so many people because people usually have gone through that journey when they've started the program. And the difference really is, like I've been through eczema, created a program
yeah.
around it and like specialize in it. And one of the big turning points too is having a community, and regular calls, which a lot of people say that that's helpful. Yeah.
I think that was the other thing, knowing that like yourself, you've been through it, and you have the expertise through all the studies, and you've helped all these people, but you yourself have actually done it. So that gives you a bit of comfort. And yeah, like you said, when I was seeing the naturopath, they sort of look at one part of it. If you see a doctor, they look at one part of it, and they don't really look at the whole thing. And like, it's more like symptomatic.
Yeah.
What are the symptoms as opposed to addressing what's actually going on. So I think that's probably where the benefit is. You look at the whole thing, and everyone's a little bit different. There's obviously common themes, but you're getting to that root cause, and then from there you can create a bit of a strategy. And it's not just about the gut, it's about the mind, like what's your relationship with your skin.
Yeah.
And those sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we were chatting about this on one of the calls, is that there's a big gap because you have all these like well-trained specialists in different areas, but nobody's
Mm,
talking together. And the aim of conventional medicine is to prevent and to treat disease, where here it's more preventative. And I mean, we're treating eczema, but it's not just one thing, right? The allergist is going to say it's allergies, um, an endocrinologist, right? Maybe it's a hormone picture, or
yeah.
gastrologist. It's like, okay, well, you don't have IBD and all the serious things,
Mm,
right? So then it's like, well, nothing's wrong with you. And then you're like, but rashes all over my body. Something is wrong with me. I can feel it,
yeah.
right? The heat, all that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The last doctor I literally saw told me to leave Adelaide
Yeah.
because I guess for people that don't know, Adelaide's a pretty dry place. And I know you've lived or live in Canada, which is probably also a dry place. It gets pretty cold there, I'd imagine. And yeah, just like in the winter especially, it's when you've got like near zero humidity, it sort of has a big impact. So if your skin is compromised, then you feel it a lot more. But can't just up and leave. And if I could move to Noosa or the Sunshine Coast, I'd be happy about that. But I don't think the family and friends would be too. Yeah, maybe Michelle would like it. I don't
know. Well, later on, you can use that as an excuse. You can be like, oh,
Yeah.
better for my skin. They're like, but you don't have rashes.
At least you said.
Yeah. It's better for your health. The vitamin D is going to be better there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what were in the program? What were some of the aha moments? So the turning points, and I guess maybe some things that you learned about yourself, your body.
Yeah. Probably like we were just saying, that it's not just one thing. Like in the program, I didn't know this going into it, but it was like very educational. So there's a whole course around all this other stuff that you learn. Whether it's ways to manage your stress, get better sleep, have a good mindset, how exercise and your gut and what you eat sort of affects your skin. So probably didn't know that was going to be such a big part, but it was great to learn all that stuff, because I think, and I've mentioned it to you before, is like a lot of what you learn there and implement doesn't just help your eczema, it helps other things. Like I literally, you would get like little breakouts with pimples and that sort of thing. Like that's pretty rare for me now, until Easter comes around. I ate too much chocolate, but generally like better there. Like how much more energy you have, because you're sleeping better. And yeah, because obviously I was up all night itching. It was driving me insane. It was probably driving Michelle insane as well. So just how much better you feel from sleeping better and putting all those other things into practice. It's definitely so beneficial. Yeah, so that was probably, I guess, a bit of a realization. And the biggest aha moment for me was seeing, or I guess turning point was like seeing the rashes go down, because I've been on steroid creams. I didn't really have the rashes, and then I decided, I think just before I started the program, to get off. I was just like, no, steroid creams are bad. I'm not going to ever touch them again, and I still haven't to this day. I know you said, maybe you have to, like, there might be times where you do need that to settle things down, but like I was just like, nah. I'm getting rid of it. So it's sitting in the drawer. I remember you saying that, so I actually left it in there, but I was going to throw it in the bin. But I have this brand new tube just sitting in the drawer, and it's almost like, yeah,
I didn't even have to use it.
I know it's in there. But yeah, I guess for me that caused like a flare up after that lasted a few weeks, as my body, I guess, was getting used to not having that there. So that was a tough few weeks, but the turning point for me was when that started getting better. And over a matter of months, actually, for me, I was probably one of the lucky ones that healed quite rapidly at the start. So I'd say I'm 95, 97% free now. But there's certain parts where I don't have eczema at all. It hasn't even been itchy. Where I used to be very itchy and had eczema. So that gives me hope, I guess, that the 2 or 3 little spots that are left, I'll be able to get rid of them. So that gives me a bit of confidence there. But yeah, just seeing that turning point in going from those, I don't know if you've seen the before and after photos, the rashes were pretty bad. So just seeing that get better was huge. So
yeah, and that's where you gain that confidence, right? Because when you come off steroids, you're very lucky. I thought you might go through TSW, but lucky you were able to dodge that bullet. And the rashes, and it's just normal, right? If you've been suppressing with medication, blocking the inflammatory response, the rashes that you've just been suppressing come back, which isn't easy. It's hard. But when you can start seeing them go down, and that's when you start getting into the clear skin phase, and there'll be times when it comes up again, but when you can see that reducing, you can see your skin bouncing back quicker and quicker, that's when you get confidence. Okay, it's possible. Okay, I can manage this. And this is essentially how you have control over your flare-ups, which is the cool place to be in. Yeah. Okay, so how has your life changed since, now that you don't have rashes?
Well, I guess probably like sleep's probably like a big one. I'd hate to know if I did a sleep study before I did the program, how bad it was. That was definitely like one of the things that was terrible. But now I'd happily say, I don't think Michelle's basically said she hasn't noticed me sleep itching during the night. I probably rarely wake myself up itching. I used to get these gouges if I had like a little bit on my nail or something that wasn't filed or something, and I would just have this, it's almost like a cat scratched me on my back. So I don't have them anymore. So probably sleep's one. I don't use like even lotions. During the start of the program, I was always talking about lotions and finding the best lotion. If you remember that?
You're the mood guy.
Ambassador.
Yeah. We're going to put you on a billboard.
Yeah, I know. She got paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I think probably like the creams, like after a shower, like I don't shower as much as I used to, so maybe like every second or third day, I would always put cream on still after a shower, but I don't find like I need to do it every day or in between that. So that's probably one of the positives. Yeah, sleep, less creams, no steroids, not even touching that. Mindset is probably a lot better. I can tolerate different foods and probably alcohol a bit better. I know whenever I had like a wine or something, I would just like immediately start feeling it, getting itchy. I was actually watching a video. Michelle takes random videos of me around the house just when I'm doing weird things, just so she can share it later on social media. But even just watch, I think she was showing me one from like a year ago, and I'm just like, I'd move over here and then I'd just be itching, and then I'd be in another room and I'd be itching my leg. It's like, I can't believe it's all subconscious because you don't realize you're doing it. So just like not itching all the time.
Yeah,
is
I remember.
fantastic.
Yeah, you said I'd be itching and I wouldn't even realize it would be when other people would tell me. Yeah.
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 It was just like breathing.
Yeah.
It's just something you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's crazy too, like with the itch, especially at nighttime, it's just so intense that it's all you can think about. So there's times where it's like a habitual and you're just scratching. And sometimes people even notice that they're not even itchy, they're just scratching. Just like it's just pure habit. And I don't know if you notice that now. Do you notice if you ever get stressed, you start scratching and you're like, I actually don't have rashes there and I'm not itchy?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Sometimes like it's almost like a bit of a habit one, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I go to do that on my neck and on my arms too. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
Being conscious of it as well is like such a good thing, because if like before I was literally unconsciously itching all the time, but now like I know I'm doing it, I'll stop straight away and find another solution, whether that's putting an ice pack on, having a salt bath or something like that.
Yeah.
Jumping in the ocean.
Jumping in the ocean is a big one. Yeah. Luxury. Yeah. Well, it's a big transformation into somebody who has never had eczema. It's like, well, just not scratching and being able to sleep through the night and being able to eat these foods without itching doesn't seem like a lot, but if you've been there and you know that pain, it's a lot, right? Because it's also something for dinner, you're like, oh, am I going to get itchy right after, and it's just a subconscious thing that plays in the back of your mind always.
And when someone tells you to stop itching, you're just like, I can't. It feels so good.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like you're holding it for so long, and then you start scratching, and it feels so good, and then it starts burning. And you're like, but I can't stop now.
But I think even just being conscious now, if I do have a flare up, just knowing what itching would mean for the next like few weeks for me, I'll sit there and so it's almost like a game. Like, how can I mentally overcome this? Because I know they only last, even at like your worst flare up, even when my skin was so bad, it's not like it's there all the time. You have this flare up and then this itchiness and then it goes away. So if you can do something to sort of help that get through that little period, then that's better. But yeah, just being conscious of it is a good thing.
Totally. And that's like everything that we do in the brain, like with the brain skin connection, because we're living on autopilot for like 95% of the day. So it's like, can you be aware of when you're scratching? And again, I'm always cautious not to tell people not to scratch, but if you can, like there's things that you can do to distract it and help bring it down without tearing up your skin, having to start the cycle and repair your skin from the beginning is helpful too. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I love your story because like even reading, like when we were chatting about like on your wrap up call and just reading about your journey, right? Like it's just like, I didn't even think it was possible to like full circle where you're like, okay, if I get a flare up, because you can't cure eczema, right? It's going to come up again. But like you have the tools now. So you have the confidence that if I get another flare up, okay, well, let me look at what's been happening, right? Is it that brain skin? Is it high stress? Am I overdoing it? Am I not sleeping? Am I not prioritizing my health? Or was it Easter and was I mowing down on all the delicious food? So understanding what can cause it and contribute to it, and then also having the tools to help bring it down again, like that is freedom from eczema. So um, yeah. But I also just want to congratulate you because you just had so much on in life, and the fact that you know, you couldn't put 100% in, which is totally fine because you had the tools, you did what you had to, and it obviously got a great result, but you still showed up and you prioritized it and you prioritized yourself. And now, like, you know, when you have little time, you made the time to do it. And now you do have a lot more time now because you can sleep, you have better energy, you know, less scratching means more time for like more mental capacity in general. So well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. It's for me, it was 100% worth it. Like just to have that know-how of like what to actually do, and then to have that support from yourself and the group as well, with other people going through the same thing was huge. Like I think for everyone there's like ups and downs, but if you're trying to do that by yourself without real help, like it's so hard because it's not an easy thing to deal with. You know, everyone's got something that they're dealing with, but eczema, like if you've ever dealt with it, then people know that it's plays on your conscious and subconscious minds. I think I'm always like a just get on with it type of person, but I think even for me there was a bit of a tipping point where I was like, no, I need to do something about it. And that was last year. I was like, I want to be able to get married and not have to worry about drowning myself in creams, so I don't have a breakout during a wedding, and be able to, you know, have a few drinks and that sort of thing. So yeah, like just having the extra help and the support from the group was good.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. And you were able to go on a honeymoon and you went on a big road trip, enjoyed it. Yeah, without having to deal with hiccups and rashes.
Yeah, didn't have to deal with the eczema so much, more so getting stuck in floods up the East Coast. So different sort of problem.
Totally.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it the most relaxing trip.
Yeah. But at least you weren't also itching.
Yeah, at least I wasn't itching. So
yeah,
the humidity helps.
Yeah. And it's funny because some people the humidity makes it worse. For me, the humidity makes it worse, and extreme dry was hard for me too. But people can go on the opposite sides, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I've always felt that it's maybe. I even bought a humidifier for my bedroom just for that fact. So it seems to help. Yeah.
Good. It's all the little tools. People can get fixated that it's like the one thing, but it's like if you don't have the inflammation dealt with, then that's not going to work. It's everything together, which is what you said. You know, it's all the lifestyle stuff that most people don't deal with, right? It's not like moving their body, they're not sleeping properly, so you have to be doing everything really as a whole. Which is
I think everyone you speak to as well is very much like this fixed my nephew's friend doesn't have eczema anymore, try this. And then you try it and you're like, oh yeah, it works a little bit, doesn't fix it. It helps, but that plus these other things you know, all together sort of help dramatically. It's not just the one thing.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for spending the time to share your journey. As you know, it is helpful to hear what's possible for other people. So now you're on the other side and you can be the inspiring person. Do you have any parting words or any words of wisdom or advice for people who are just getting started?
Yeah, I would think, like for me, it's weird being on the other side. That's literally at the start of that. I didn't think I'd ever get there. Like I've had it my whole life, so what, 31 years now. So it's at that point you're like, well, maybe there isn't an answer. But I guess for people just to know that there is an answer. Looking at it holistically definitely is the answer. I don't know if there would be another answer. Obviously, drugs like steroid creams are a short-term answer, but they don't fix the problem. But yeah, just it's. I remember seeing one of these interviews for me 6 months ago, and it gave me hope. So I hope this gives someone else out there hope that they can do something about it.
Yeah.
Get some help.
Yep, ask for help. But yeah, if there is anybody who has been inspired by Alex's journey and would like to chat, you can drop in the chat or in the comments, let's chat, and one of the team can reach out and either give you some resources to help you get started or have a call about how you can get started on your healing journey as well. So thank you, Alex, for sharing your journey and spending the time to help spread the word.
Thanks very much.